Okay, so I'm from Bermuda, born and raised. Everyone that I know is in Bermuda. Everyone that I know here is who I've made my friends or made my family. Um, I was signed at 14 in Bermuda and to a label in the Caribbean. And from there, things kind of took off in the country. Like in Bermuda, I did a lot of commercials. I was the face of building a new hospital. Like I done a lot of stuff, like in Bermuda in general, like speaking to the children, a lot of community-based things. And then I won a few awards. Like it was just like, in high school, everyone knew I did music. I was always in the paper for something, like newspaper. I don't know if you guys know what that means. Always in the newspaper for something. And yeah, so then after that, I was like, okay, I need to figure out how I'm going to get to the US. And being from another country, there's always that visa situation. So the easiest way to get out of your country is to go to school. So I went to Full Sail University. I obtained a Bachelor of Science in Entertainment Business. And from there on out, it's kind of history, like just everything kind of mashed together.
Mm. What's the state of the visa at this point?
Right now, I am on an entertainment visa. Yeah, so I can only do one thing, anything pertaining to entertainment.
I see. And all right, let's take a few of these details and break them down a little bit. If people are not familiar with Bermuda, how far is that from the United States?
So Bermuda is off the coast of the Carolinas. It's like, let's say maybe 800 miles off of the coast. That's our closest point. So it's in the middle of the Atlantic, in between the UK and the US.
And was it a certain part of Bermuda you represent, or you were actually born in?
So I was born, well, in where everyone in Bermuda is born. There's only one place. I was born at in Paget, at the hospital, the only hospital we have. And yeah, but I'm from Southampton, so the west side. But my family's from Bailey's Bay.
And growing up for you, what was that like during that time? What was that part of
Bermuda?
Yeah.
Honestly, it's a really dope place to grow up. It's really community-based. Like, I don't know, it's just a lot of love in the country. Like, we have our downfalls, of course. We really have our downfalls. But for the most part, as a child, like, you really don't have much to fear. You can walk around, like, it's just very carefree and nonchalant. Like, that's just who we are as people. So growing up, it was just like, if someone's down, you help them. Get what I'm saying? So it's hard to struggle in a country when there's so many people there to help and love and make sure that you are okay.
Was that a culture shock coming to the United States?
Yes, a big culture shock. It was, I didn't realize that it's kind of like everyone for yourself out here. Like, I didn't realize that it's very segregated. I didn't realize I was Black until I came to America. Let's just say that. Like, I didn't know that I had to put myself into a category and be like, damn, this is where I have to find myself being comfortable. And these are the type of friends that I have to have. So it was just like, okay, interesting.
How did you cope with some of these culture shocks?
Honestly, you just have to adapt. So it's like, coming from Bermuda, like I said, you don't really judge anybody by the color of their skin or anything. So it's kind of like making friends in the US, like even like business-wise, I just literally had to find where I fit. And that's pretty much it. Like,
was that the hardest thing for you to grasp with the culture shock, or was it something else other than that?
Yeah, kind of. That was pretty much the hardest thing. It's just, yeah.
If somebody's not familiar with Bermuda, what's the main language there?
So the main language is English, and then our second language is Portuguese, but it's kind of fading out because it's not being taught in schools, and it's just fading out.
So no real difference for you in the language barrier?
No, not at all.
From Bermuda to the United States?
Yeah, not for real.
Do you personally know much Portuguese?
No, I don't. Well, I don't know a lot, but I know enough to get around because I went to a Portuguese-based school. So a lot of the kids that were in my school, like, they're legit Portuguese, like the mama and the daddy are Portuguese. It's like, you know what I mean? So whereas in my heritage, it's like my grandmother, and that's it. Like everybody else kind of mixed and intertwined.
Grandmother on your mother's side or father's side?
On my mama's side.
And were you the first from your family in Bermuda to come to the United States?
Not, I'm the first to remain here. In Bermuda, it's like very business oriented, so people usually do leave for like school to further their education, you know what I mean, and then come back and be able to work and afford the lifestyle there. But because it's like really expensive to live there, really expensive, overly priced. But yeah, I'm the first to kind of stay and say like I'm trying to make this my stomping ground, and build from here on up.
When you had initially moved to the United States for school, did you have any friends or family in the United States at that time?
No, not at all. None.
So overall, was your transition easy or hard? That move and that getting acclimated, when you look back and reflect, was that an easy or hard thing for you?
I would say it was okay. Like, it wasn't perfect. I had to kind of become more self-sufficient and understand that you can't just call home every 5 seconds. Because when I first got out here, WhatsApp was not as advanced as it is now. So I was literally spending tons of money trying to call my parents. So I'm like, you know what I mean? Just speak to friends, because WhatsApp just wasn't what it is now, or FaceTime wasn't what it is now. My family didn't have iPhones, but yeah, I just had to come figure out who I am.
Maybe there's somebody watching this interview right now, listening to your story, that's thinking about making that move from, outside the United States to in the United States.
Right.
And now circumstances could be different for everybody, but
Yeah.
is there anything you would say to somebody watching this that's maybe about to make that move themselves? Anything that you would...
Honestly, making the move to the States, you kind of just have to do it, but you have to make sure that you're prepared prior to coming here. Like, my big thing was like, okay, I need to find the money to get out here. Like, we need to have scholarships pop in. At the time, my parents didn't have it because my father had lost his job. So it was just like, okay, I need to find any scholarship, anything, any way I can find my way to get to America. I need to make sure that I am okay. Like, so make sure you have your finances straight. And then once you get here, you just need to work hard to stay here.
How was your preparation for that move? How would you judge your preparation for that move?
My preparation?
Yeah,
Like,
something that you advised a second ago.
I would just say my preparation was more so pack what you feel like you need. If you have anything that's gonna feel like home, because remember, you're moving to a whole new country, so something that you know is gonna hold the scent of something that you love. Like, I remember I bought this like blanket with me, and I used to just sleep with it every night because it's just like, this country smells different. I was like, this country smells like pollution. Like, Bermuda does not smell like this. So yeah, bring something that you love with you, because you need something to help you keep your sanity while you're here. Because you're gonna be alone. So.
And since coming to the States, would you go back to Bermuda? Have you gone back?
Yes, I go back as often as possible, because it's like, I don't want to miss anything, kind of. It's like, I have grandparents, I have younger cousins, I have my parents, they're getting older. So I try to go home when I can go home, or when I can afford to go home, because it's like, gotta be realistic. The prices, those tickets ain't cheap. So, yeah.
What age was it when you actually made that move in your life?
I was 17.
Feel like you did it at the right age? Or do you feel like...
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. I feel like the sooner you do it, the faster you're gonna become more accommodating to your surroundings.
And did you have a relationship at that time with a significant other, perhaps?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
So nothing that tied you down or...
No.
Okay. Now, you did mention your parents here in this interview segment so far. I assume both parents are in your life today?
Yes. Yeah, and Bermuda is kind of like, that's another thing I don't really understand about being here. It's like you don't see that many people with their parents together. In Bermuda, it's like you commit to things. So it's a lifelong decision that you made. It's not always just about the love, it's about the business as well. So, like, that's kind of a normal thing there.
So your parents are married?
Yes.
And do you have any children at this point?
My chihuahua.
Just curious. And, all right. We talked a little bit about growing up. You kind of mentioned also, too, there was one point when your father had lost his job.
Yeah.
Financially, how did you grow up? Like, how would you... I know in American society, people get placed in classes. I don't know how it is in financial classes. I don't know how it is in Bermuda, but like in American society, people get placed in... There's poor, there's lower middle class, there's middle class.
Yeah, we kind of have that in Bermuda.
Upper middle class and rich.
Yeah, we kind of had that in Bermuda. We were just middle class, you know what I mean? We were okay, like, and then we weren't okay. And then it was like, okay, this is really what's happening right now. All right, toughen up, sis.
Seeing both sides, you know, of being okay and then it dipping down, what did you learn from that? What did you take away from that experience of both?
I learned to really appreciate what you have. Like, I was appreciative before, but it was kind of just like you never really understand how hard things can get. Like, literally everything can be taken away from you. So learning that at 17 when you've just moved to America and you're like, okay, I know I have this scholarship money, but this isn't gonna feed me the whole time I'm here. It's kind of like, all right. Like, I had to get a job on campus. I literally just had to start like figuring out what my little hustle was gonna be in order to be there, be where I was at, or like sustain the decision that I made to move.
When when money wasn't so good in your family and things dipped down from middle class, what do you think the biggest obstacle was that you may have faced personally? Was it that scenario you just displayed there when you start going to school and you got to figure out a way to make money? Was that your biggest obstacle, or was it something even?
I wouldn't even say that was my biggest obstacle. Honestly, it was like that whole year was just a hard year in general. Like, people were passing away, and then it's like it was crazy. Like, it was just a crazy year in general. So like I said, I had to kind of I became more so like my family's little support system, and I'm the person that's gonna try and help figure everything out, or like I started picking up more responsibility family-wise to kind of console everybody and, you know, hold it together.
Who had passed?
My grandfather had passed away. Then I had a cousin that had gotten shot. So it was kind of just like, it was just a lot.
Your cousin survived?
No, not at all. But that's life.
And grandfather and cousin on mother's side, father's side?
On my mother's side.
Were either of these two deaths here the most impactful deaths you've experienced so far in your life?
No.
What was the most impactful death in your life that you've experienced so far?
Okay, so far, last summer, I lost a friend I had known him since elementary school. And I was just at this club, in Bermuda, in the hood. And I hung out there very often. I'm known to be seen there. It's like one of my spots. Like, it's kind of like a neighborhood joint. Like, it's more so like a bar or like a social club kind of. And yeah, so on Sunday nights, it's known to be very like lit or like popping or whatever. And it was a normal Sunday night. I went there with some friends, and a gang-related fight broke out afterwards. And my friend got stabbed, and it was just like they pulled him out of the fight, and he was covered in blood. And I'm just like, yo, what the fuck is going on at this point? Like, he's really sitting here bleeding. So I grabbed my brother's car, because I was driving my brother's car at the time, because I don't live there, so I don't have transportation. But yeah, so I had my brother's car, and I pulled it up, and I put him in the back of the car with his friend. And these two girls jumped in, two random girls, and I asked them to just hold the wound. Because it was just like, at the time, 911 just wasn't working. Like, the number was down. And that happens in Bermuda sometimes, because stuff rarely happens, you know what I mean? So threw him in the car, and we got to the hospital. He was unresponsive. They pulled him out. They tried to revive him, and he came back for like literally a minute and just didn't come back after that. So it was kind of just like, yo, this is really happening right now. Like, you don't ever think you're gonna be in a situation like that. You know what I mean? And the whole time it was like, I was telling him, like, you're gonna be okay. Like, you're gonna be fine, I promise. Like you're gonna be okay. Well, it's life.
You actually see the stabbing?
I didn't see him physically get stabbed. I saw him coming out, because it was just like a big fight. Like, it was like a brawl in the middle of the street outside of the club. So, yeah, I saw the wounds, and I knew he had been punctured, and I knew it was bad, but I didn't think it was that bad.
How many stab wounds?
He only had one big stab wound on the left side, right under his rib cage. And it was just like, not good.
A lot of blood?
Yeah, it was a lot of blood. A lot of blood.
But you did see them reviving him and him having at least 1 minute of life, and did you see all that part?
No, so when we pulled up to the hospital, it was like, they knew I was on the way, because some other friends that I had went out with, like my friends Takara and Deidre, they had been calling, because I was just like, no one's coming. Like, there's no one coming. It's just, make this decision. Am I gonna put him in the car and become a part of this, or let him die here? But I didn't think he was gonna die. Like, that's not the thought. Like, I try to think as positive as possible. I'm like, we're gonna be okay. I'm gonna get you to the hospital. I'm talking to him the whole ride. I'm praying for him. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna be good. We're gonna be good, Trakes. Like, we're gonna be good. We're not good. But it's, like I said, it's just sometimes how it happens.
What was the relation of you and this friend? Was he like a best friend to you? Were you guys like romantically?
So he was kind of like my middle school crush. Like, I was like dating him a little in middle school. I talked to him a little in high school, but it was never anything serious. He was kind of just that person that's like, you know him and you like him, but I need you to get it together. You like, in order to be with me, you need to get your life together completely 100%. Because first of all, we're from two completely different places. I'm from the West Side. You're from Orchard. Like, we need to make sure that everything is straight before we even decide to start talking to each other, because that's a big move in Bermuda. Like, yeah, but he was cool.
I know you mentioned this was a gang-related fight. He was part of a gang, or?
Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And how did you find out he actually had passed away?
So when I was at the hospital, I was told everything was okay. The police had confiscated the car for evidence, and I had went home to let my brother know that we no longer have a car. And I woke up the next morning, and his friend Katari had texted me and was just like, he's gone. And I was just like, I was just like, he's going where? From the hospital home? Like, that's literally what I texted back. I said, he's going home? Okay, I'll go stop by his house. Like, and my father called me very upset. And that's how I found out he passed, because my father was like, what did you get yourself into? You're going to be called in for questioning within the next 24 hours. And I was just like, what? What do you mean? Like, I didn't do anything but take him to the hospital and make sure that he was okay and try to cover his wounds. Like, I did not do anything. And they were just like, you're part of the situation. And that's how I found out that he died, because I didn't even know. I was just like, wait, what? What's going on?
You attend his funeral?
Yes, I did.
That was your first funeral ever?
No. I had been to my grandfather's, and then a few other young people that had passed from either like road fatalities or just,
This was the same grandfather that you had referenced that had passed
Yeah.
in this interview? I think you said that was on your father's side? Mother's side. Okay, sorry there. How did you cope since his passing?
It was weird, because at first I was like, I don't know if I should stay in Bermuda, because that's where my family is. But I also had stuff to get done music-wise out here. And I knew that if I stayed at home, I wouldn't make any progress out here. So I decided to return to America. And I just coped with my friends. Like, my friend Jasmine was a really big part of that. My friend Johnny was a big part of it. Like, those were kind of the only two people I talked to.
Sometimes people get counseling with this stuff, therapy, the help of a mental health professional.
Yeah.
Did you have any of that?
No. But I would say I felt like I went through like a little depression. For sure. But no, I didn't go to any therapy, anything.
How'd you get through that depression stage there?
It was just honestly trying to...
Was it those two friends?
Yeah, them, and then just trying to speak more positivity and like clouding myself at work. And yeah.
Do you feel like you need it at this point?
Need...
Like counseling or therapy or mental health professional?
Not at this point. Like, I feel like back then I probably could have used it. But now I'm kind of just like, I'm okay with what happened. And yeah, I'm cool.
And
Back
what
to
age?
normal. Not normal, but you know.
What age or what grade was this when this had happened?
This was last year.
Oh, very recent.
Yeah, very recent.
Now, somebody watching this interview and hearing your story, maybe going through something very similar, the death of a very close friend.
Yeah,
Obviously, circumstances could be different for everybody, but
definitely.
anything you would say to somebody watching this that's going through something of that nature?
Honestly, I would just say talk to someone. Like, find the perfect person to talk to. Because that was a hard part for me. I was trying to figure out what friends to talk to, because everyone was not sympathetic to the situation. Or it was just like they wanted sympathy as well because they knew the person. Or it was just like, okay, yeah, I know you know them, but look, I was there and I experienced it and I held him. I knew what happened. So yeah, just find the perfect person to talk to and then just try to express everything.
Now, in this particular death, what did that teach you? What did you learn from this?
I learned to appreciate people, honestly. Just appreciate people as much as you can while they are here, because people will not be here forever. No.
I know this was a gang-related fight, but do you think this could have been prevented at all, his death?
At this, like, I just say everything happens for a reason, you know? So, yes, it probably could have been prevented, but at the same time, his death, he was helping somebody else from his area at the time. So, although I don't want to say that it was his time, but it kind of just, like, things happen, and you can't take them back, and you can't sit here and try to regret or be like, oh, I wish I could have changed, because if not, you're never going to move across it. So,
I want to talk about him for a little bit longer here. What is the one characteristic, I should say, you miss the most about him?
he was very, there's a lot of characteristics. He was a character in general. He was a very happy person, and he wanted to do better. That's something I knew about him. Like, he wanted to do better. Like, every time he popped in and out of my life, it was because he wanted to do better. That's it. Like, he had goals, and his past choices didn't allow him to reach them.
Do you have a favorite memory of him you could share with us today?
Yeah, definitely. So I would say it was probably my last memory before going to the club. We went jet skiing. It was like, in Bermuda, we do these things called raft ups where you'll meet up. Like, it's a bunch of, boats in the middle of the ocean. Like, everyone does them. Like, it's a fun experience. And I didn't even know he was going to be at the raft up, because it was my cousin Tori's birthday. And literally, he pulled up on a jet ski and was like, let's go. And I'm like, let's go. So we took the ski. Literally, I asked him, can we drive? So we swapped out, like, closer to, because, we had to go looking for ice. That's what happened. We had to go looking for ice, but all the gas stations were out of ice. Like, so, because in Bermuda, like, the gas stations are next to the ocean, so, boats could get whatever moving forward. Yeah, we had to get ice. There was no ice. We swapped over after, like in the middle of the ocean, and I was like, okay, I'm driving. And I flipped the ski, and we went flying across the water, and he lost everything. He lost, like, his gold chain. He lost a diamond bracelet. He lost one of his Gucci slides. And he was just so cool about it. He was just like, all right, that's fine. It's okay. And I was just like, are you sure? Because that's a lot of money going under the water. But all right.
Did he do music himself?
No. He wanted to open businesses. Like, surprisingly, he really wanted to open businesses and do more in the community in Bermuda.
Did this death change the direction of your music at all?
I wouldn't say it changed the direction of it, but before this, I was having a hard time relating to sad stuff, because that's just not who I am. I'm a very happy person. Like, people never see me upset, sad, any of it. So after this, I learned how to be sad, or learned, like, not to necessarily throw away my sad moments. Like, I learned to appreciate them.
Have you mentioned him in your music?
No, not as of yet.
Ever made a song about him?
I wouldn't say lyrically. I've played the keys kind of in thought of him, but not put words to anything.
Is that a possibility, or?
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility.
He did see the music career side of you.
Yes, definitely. Like, even that last day on the ski, he was kind of just like, I see you doing your thing, you're going up, like, I always knew you would do it. Yeah.
The person who did this to him, were they ever apprehended?
No. Nope.
because of the way he was, the way he passed, do you treat, and this happened at a nightclub,
Mm-hmm.
do you stop going to nightclubs? Do you, if you do continue to go to nightclubs, do you, carry yourself in a different manner, or how do you feel about nightclubs and such at this point? I don't know if you've ever been to that same club or that area of a club before, but what
Yeah.
is your opinion on?
So I did go back. I went back in the winter of this past Christmas, and it was weird at first. But no, I didn't, like, at first before I went home, I was just like, no, I'm not going out. Please don't ask me to. Like, I probably won't be seen at any of my normal, like, outings, because people know where to find me when I'm in the country. But my friends just wanted to go out, so I kind of had no choice. And it was weird. It was very weird because at a spot that you know you would normally see him, he's not there. And it was just, I had to get used to being back in a scenario, like another potential scenario. But yeah, now when I feel a vibe, I dip. Like, I'm not about to be there because I cannot go through that again.
Was that the first time you had gone back to any nightclub, or just that particular nightclub?
Yeah, it's the first time I went out.
Were you trying to avoid it?
Not really trying to avoid it. I was just trying to understand what my mind was telling me. You know, I didn't want to do anything before I was ready.
When it comes to gang activity
Mm-hmm.
in Bermuda, how big is gang activity in Bermuda?
Some seasons are quieter than others, and some are more rowdy. It's people don't really know about it because the media obviously doesn't broadcast it. Because Bermuda is a really happy place, don't get me wrong. And those that are involved in the gang activity, they kind of keep it amongst themselves. So it's like the general public really doesn't get involved unless you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Like, so it's not that bad. It could be worse. Like, we've had bad years where there's a shooting every other week. Like, because guns are illegal in Bermuda, so there should be no shootings. But I don't know how. You know, I don't know. Gangs are gangs. They figure out ways to do stuff. But like I said, it's quiet sometimes, most times.
The death of stabbing, or the means of stabbing is more prevalent than shooting in Bermuda.
Yes, I would say so. Yeah.
And when it comes to gangs, did you ever join one?
No, not at all.
Why not? Some do.
Because in my generation, like, it's kind of like my generation, there were no girl gangs. Like, yeah, there were no girl gangs in my generation for real. It was kind of calm for the females, very calm. But I would say, like, my aunts, because I have young aunts, they're like 30. In their generation, there were girl gangs, of course, but not in mine. It's kind of calmed down.
Did you ever have family members that were?
Yeah, definitely.
In gang activity?
Definitely.
Girls and guys?
Guys more so. No girls. I've known girls, like friends of friends, but no girls, more guys.
Mom's side, dad's side?
A little bit of both. Yeah, a little bit of both.